Awesome. So first question is pretty simple. You can give us your name, your title here, probably owner, I'm guessing, and then quick background on what you did before this, and maybe go into how this all started.
Okay. I'm Lee Martin. I'm an engineer by training. I've got a PhD, but if you're sick, don't come to me, okay? Before this, I was a professor at the University of Tennessee teaching entrepreneurship to engineers, which is an oxymoron, but it was a lot of fun. And this is my retirement plan. It's my way to stay healthy, stay active, stay engaged with people, and hopefully do something great for the community.
Awesome. So when you were building this started in 2020, correct?
Yes, the planning started in 2019, and I used an architect named David Hutchins who took my ideas and my floor plan and made sure it was to code and built this place. So it opened in August of 2020. Not the greatest business plan, right in the smack dab middle of COVID, all right? But what happened was folks really wanted to get out and do something. We were automatically social distanced with the kitchen, and membership grew pretty rapidly through the end of 2020 through 2021.
And how did you get your start in pickleball?
Excellent question. I had a buddy that I have had breakfast with, this fella and another 4 guys for the last 20 years. We're just kind of our support group. One day he said, I want to show you this game. I want to take you to play pickleball. And there was a facility out in a public park called West Knox Pickleball. And he took me out there, and the funny thing about it is he expected to whip me and I whipped him. And I was hooked right then. And what really got me hooked was about a year later, Scott Moore came through town and did a seminar for about 40 players. And some of the insights that he gave helped me understand the depth of the game. And I like the strategies involved in pickleball. Played tennis now for 60 years. I've played pickleball for 9 years. And I am totally sold on pickleball as a game. In the 90s, played racquetball, etc. But this is a game not just of skill, but it's of cunning and strategy. And that's what really drew me to the game. I'm a thinker, and I like to think fast on the court. And it just is such a challenge and such a joy to beat 20-year-olds on the court just because they're faster, they're stronger, but you can outsmart them. And that's cool.
So what made you want to go from just a player to a pickleball club owner?
Well, at that time, you got to do the Wayback Machine to 2019, 2020. First of all, I was at the end of my career at the University of Tennessee teaching entrepreneurship. And I was about a year before retirement going, okay, what do I want to do next? Because I didn't really want to sit still too well. And I have a methodology called the I Dare You Square. It's a 4 square that looks at physical, mental, social, and relational and tries to keep balance in that. It's a great story if you've never heard it. It is William Danforth. It's the backstory of the Purina logo, dog chow, puppy chow, cat chow. I won't go into the details there, but I use that in seasons of my life to try to guide purposeful decisions. And what it turned out to be is pickleball was a way to stay healthy. It was a way to stay mentally active. Anytime you start a new company, you got 1,000 questions to answer, okay? It was a way to create, I got 1,000 new friends that I didn't have before this happened 5 years ago. And even on the spiritual side, we pray for people here. We try to embrace their needs on a little bit more of a level. So it fit my Dare Square perfectly. And in hindsight, I'm going, great decision. It has exceeded my wildest imagination on what would happen. So it's a retirement plan. To be totally honest with you, I didn't do it necessarily to make a buku of money. I did it to stay healthy and joyful and create community.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about the facility. How many courts? How many members do you have? And maybe what makes your club special?
Yes, we have 4 indoor and 7 outdoor courts. At the time those 4 indoor courts were built, there was only one other dedicated indoor facility in the entire Southeast. A fellow over in North Carolina that was very helpful. His name's Richard. He answered a bunch of my questions that I had. And what makes this facility unique is, first of all, great lighting, great court surface. It's a 24-hour facility. We use something called Open Path to allow our members access after our operating hours. And it's just a great place to play pickleball. We have approximately 650 members now. This time last year, we had over 1,000 members, but we've opened a second facility to try to ease our overcrowding, and it has done that very well. So it's been financially a success. It's just paying off the note back to me. Again, at this juncture, There wasn't bank financing and stuff for this because nobody had any models. The question back then was, what's pickleball? Now everybody knows what pickleball is. It's on commercials, et cetera. So I self-funded this in order to get it started, and I'm on par to get paid back in about 10 years. So that's the way it goes.
So tell me a little bit more about the lights. We talked a little bit as we was walking through, but tell me about what kind of lights you went with and why, and if you've been pleased or not with them.
Yes. First of all, the technology is indirect lighting. We don't shine a light down like a fluorescent light on the court. It's shown up. The ceiling is a mylar that reflects that diffusely. And so if you have been in a facility that has down lighting, the ball will go light dart, light dart, light dart in certain lines with the light. Here, you don't have that issue. It is also LED lighting, so it is very energy efficient. Our energy bills for handling that lighting very low. We had a specialist company that does sports lighting out of Chicago called LSI Lighting, and they did the computer models, et cetera, to set it up. Very, very pleased with the lighting here, and lighting is so important to a high caliber game. One other piece that I showed you while you were walking the facility is the lights themselves are off court. So they're about 3 feet down from the ceiling, which is a 16 to 22 foot A-frame peaked in the middle. And this does not impinge even lower on that. So how it's laid out, how well it works, the energy efficiency and the playability are all important in the lighting. And if you do it from the beginning, it's no more complicated than doing it wrong. So do it right.
So tell us a little bit about your membership structure, strategy.
Yes. Our strategy to begin with, we co-located with a tennis facility. We shared their parking lot. And so our initial members got a really good deal from the tennis club to come play here. And that's where we got our first 50 to 80 members. You got to have a little bit of a critical mass. Then we also used what I call ambassadors. We had about 4 or 5 people in the community that we gave free memberships to because they had a following in the pickleball community. We used Facebook for advertising. There's a Knoxville, Tennessee Facebook pickleball community. You know, we'd put our events out there. And also in those first couple of years, tournaments were important just to expose the facility to the community and also to help charities. So that's kind of the way that we built membership in the early years. The other things that we do to encourage membership, number one, the first time you play here is free. You can play, you sign a waiver, and we get your phone number and your email address and your nearest contact, all right? That serves 2 purposes. One, the waiver, the liability, and the other is to build our email database, okay, so we can reach out to you with special events and stuff. The other thing we do every Saturday morning, I teach a pickleball boot camp, and it's 3 hours, and the idea is to go from knowing absolutely nothing about pickleball to playing within 2 hours and then to play the game for the last hour. And the guarantee I make is that you don't pay anything if you don't laugh. So everybody's laughing by about an hour into it. We're having fun. Rule number 1, have fun. But we start with a loaner paddle, show you how to grip it. And from there, we teach how to serve, how to return serve, how to dink, and how to volley. We play the dink game only. Then we play full court. And the other guarantee I make is you'll know everything about pickleball by the time you're done, except how to keep score. You'll forget that. So that third number is hard. So it's my way. We will teach 4 to 8 people on a Saturday morning, and usually about half of them join. And then we try to put a course together for, okay, here's your next step. Here's where you do drop-ins. Here's how you get inculcated into the club.
What type of memberships do you have?
We have an individual membership. It's $35 a month. 11 months of 12 is an annual membership. We've got a family membership. It's about to be $60 a month. It was $50. It's going up to $60. 4 people in the same household. We have a staff membership. So if you're a working member here, getting a little bit more than minimum wage, you also get free membership to be with us for your family. So those are our 3 basics. We also have what's called a visitor membership, which is just to keep you on our digital logs when you come and visit. It doesn't give you any benefits. It also lets us track how many times you've been here, because after you've been here 5 times, we ask you to become a member or you can't get access again.
Tell us a little bit about how players and members can block off times.
Yeah, we've got an approach. It's kind of a funnel approach to get more and more involvement of people. It starts with that boot camp, then it goes to next steps, then it goes to drill and plays, then it goes to drop-ins, level-based drop-ins, then it goes to block times. And our concept of a block time is there's 4 blocks a year, January through March, April through June, July through whatever. So it's each quarter, 13 weeks. And we utilize, you get to buy the same time each week. So if you think of golf tee time with my foursome, we'll have 4 or 5 people in that block that prepay us for that schedule. We use Court Reserve, and it's blocked off Court Reserve. They get a text message each week the day before they play. And it's our way of selling time a quarter ahead. It's good for the cash flow. It's good for the court utilization. When we were the only game in town with 4 courts in an area of about 250,000 people, we got to 120, 130 block times every quarter on 4 courts. So do the numbers. It was a really good thing. Now there's 34 courts in the area. Well, we might have made it look a little too easy, all right? We've gone from about 120 block times to about 80 block times. But people renew those because of a little bit of a scarcity mentality. I mean, if I lose my block, I won't be able to get back into the thing. So they want to hold on to that. Great for the cash flow, great for creating community, and all of our funnel points towards that, to finding 4 or 5 buddies that you adhere to, and you come play. And the reason that you might have 5 in a block is you can either rest a little bit in a 2-hour block, or somebody's out of town or got a business commitment or something. You don't have to go looking for substitutes.
So one of the questions we ask most owners is, you've been around for 4 or 5 years now. What have you, in your opinion, done right that you haven't changed from the beginning? And maybe what's something that you have changed because you didn't feel it worked well in the beginning?
Well, let me start with the mistakes, okay? I built 4 indoor courts, and I could have easily built 6. It would not have changed that much my investment, but it would change my cash flow situation. So number one thing, I would have built 6 rather than 4, but I had no idea what the demand was going to be. Again, I'll reiterate to you, this was the first indoor facility dedicated in the state of Tennessee, only the second one to my knowledge in the Southeast. So I had no comps to go by. So that's one. Things that were done right here, we, from day one, didn't take cash. It's all on a product called Court Reserve. It's automatically billed. It's automatically collected. It's automatically, I do have an accountant that comes in once a month for a couple hours and just reconciles everything. But as far as doing literally 300 transactions a week or more, it takes me 1 click and about 5 minutes. Do that once a week. Couldn't do this if we were running on cash or if we were doing paper reservations. So that's one thing I'd say. I love Court Reserve. I'm not trying to sell it. I don't have any interest in it. And I'm sure there's some equivalent like products, but they've done a great job for our needs here. We mentioned the lighting. Do the lighting right. It's here to be a playing facility, okay? We have a cushioned court from a company called Courtmaster or Sportmaster. That's the material. A local guy puts it down. It softens the blow on your knees and your ankles and makes playing time a lot better. So I would recommend folks at least considering that. Yeah, those are the things I think I did right. Mm-hmm. We really haven't had to do much marketing and all. It's all been word of mouth. But our marketing piece is that free play the first time, a few tournaments to bring people in and expose them to facility, and some Facebook ads along the way. So
you have a 4-court building here indoors. How do you maximize your space with the limited courts per member? I think you have 1,000 members. We've been as high as 1,000 members. We've now built a second facility, so we're down to about 650 members. So it's not quite as packed as it was. But you've got to have courts to satisfy your members. This block time approach really does help maximize the court utilization. You can look at our roadmap and just see all of the spots, and they're pretty much filled. So what are some ways that you found that you can maximize your outdoor space? Yeah, outdoor space is more interesting because you got the competition from the parks, city parks, et cetera. So we have to kind of have events to get the outdoor space really packed. And in the evenings in the summer, we have leagues, we have ladders, we have specialized drop-ins and things like that. So it takes a little bit more energy and effort to get those outdoor courts maximized than it does the indoor courts. What kind of programming do you feel like has been the most successful here? We like drilling plays. They're good. Like the road to 3.5, road to 3.75, road to 4.0.
The other programming, I keep circling back to the block times because that's where our funnel ends, okay? And that in a way is programming to get people in their tight community. Other programming that I think is very successful is a club does need to offer pathways for people to learn the game and to improve their game. So we have the way we work with our instructors, they're not on staff, so to speak, as you would think of a monthly or an hourly wage. They get to eat what they kill, all right? So we do an 80-20 split with them and no court fees, 80-20 split. So they can make reservations for their clientele. They keep 80% of whatever it is that they charge. We get 20%, and that's a good handshake agreement. It's a 1099 relationship. And that way we don't carry a dead weight, okay? It's hard to carry dead weight, in my opinion.
Yep, that's great. You touched on when we were walking around, you guys have some events. You guys host some different types of parties, events. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, we are sitting in what we call the community room. It's about 1,200, 1,400 square feet, and it is set up with a bring-in kitchen, not a prep kitchen, but you can bring your pizza in, you can bring your birthday cake in, et cetera. So we have birthday parties, we have graduation parties, we have wedding parties, we have some business training, socializing events and things like that. So that is just part of creating community. And we built this room, because heated floor space is a lot more expensive than playing floor space, all right? So we did this on purpose to be able to create those communities.
Do you try to cater or market those types of hosting events at all, or is it kind of just word of mouth or natural?
It's pretty much word of mouth through our membership. We could push it more. I'm sure we could push it more. I might be a lazy entrepreneur. I don't know.
Do you have any questions?
You said with your beginner on Saturdays, you said about half of them join. Do you make a pitch for them to join, or is that something they come up to you and afterwards say?
As we finish, it's just 1 minute. It's not like a condo sale in Florida. It's just, hey, if you're interested and you'd like to join, here's the membership information, and give them a brochure. Okay. I also give them a book, and I'll give you guys the booklet called Pickleball by the Book. It's written by Dr. Pop Martin. Okay. And it's 20 pages that reiterate everything that we try to teach in the lesson so that they can take it home. Because it's like, yes, I can teach you to play pickleball. I really can teach you to play pickleball in 2 hours. And even if you've been a player, I can teach you strategies. We teach three lanes. Number one is the rules. Let's learn to play by the rules, okay? Number two, I'm a mechanical engineer, so here are the mechanics of how you hit the shot. It's not a racquetball shot. It's not a tennis shot. It is a pickleball shot. And the mechanics for hitting a serve are different than the mechanics for hitting a dink, or different than the mechanics of volleying. So we learn rules, we learn mechanics, and we learn strategies. So what am I really trying to do? Terms like loopy deep second shot. Why? You don't want me to just smash it and win the point? No, I want it loopy deep because I want you to get up to the net. And it's the loop that gives you the time to get to the net. So some of those nuances, even to people that have played quite a while, particularly out in the parks, they go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to try to do. Pickleball is not tennis on a little court. And so we try to teach what makes pickleball pickleball.
That's great. In terms of suppliers, any specific suppliers? I think you mentioned the light suppliers that have been super helpful for you.
Yes, there's three that I would mention. The LSI Lighting out of Chicago. There's Court Reserve. I believe they're out of Florida now. They were out of North Carolina. And Courtmaster. It may be Sportmaster, but Courtmaster, this court material. We've got a local supplier builder called Baseline Sports that is really, pickleball has just exploded their business. They were a tennis court builder and putting the AstroTurf down for high school football fields. So they've got quite a reach, but they serve the Southeast. It's not just Knoxville. So Baseline Sports has been very good to us.
Probably should have asked this at the beginning, but your building's right next to a racket club. What's the connection there with you guys? Or is it totally separate entities?
They are and they aren't. They are and they are not. I have a 19-year land lease for this facility that gets me access to the parking lot, all right? And that land lease expires in 19 years, and they'll get the facility. So I got 19 years to make my money back, okay? it's interesting. I get the depreciation. They get the facility at that juncture in time. And I figure, man, 19 years from now, you know what I mean? It's all good.
Love it.
So it's a unique arrangement.
Okay.
But it's worked reasonably well. It's worked exceptionally well for us. I think it's worked reasonably well for them.
Do you do any type of events or anything type in that world together?
Early on, like the first year, we did some things just to let their members get exposed to pickleball. Okay, but once we got established, it's pretty much two different organizations. You got your tennis players, you got your pickleball players, you got some that kind of go back and forth.
As far as marketing, you mentioned word of mouth. You mentioned a couple digital Facebook type things. What if you had to break up the percentages for what you do? Would you say it's what percentage word of mouth, what percentage other types of marketing?
Yeah, for us, 75-80% has been word of mouth. It's get you enjoying the game a lot, bring your neighbors, bring your friends, and talk it up. So that's word of mouth goes a long, long way. The Facebook is helpful just to create a little bit bigger community.
Are there certain things that you do to encourage people to bring friends, or is that not something that you've had to do? It's kind of natural?
We will probably re-energize some of our marketing now. But you got to realize for the last 2 years, this place was bursting at the seam. We actually stopped taking members 2 times in the last 2 years. Okay. Now we're in a little bit of a rebuilding mode with the second facility. So we may do things like, bring a friend night type stuff, free stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we haven't really had to do that yet.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit more about the second facility.
Yes, it's called Pickleville. It is about 15 miles from here, south in a place called Louisville, Maryville, Tennessee, very close to the airport. It was formerly a tennis bubble, but with the structure, not the air support. It had 4 tennis courts and a 2,000 square foot office terrace inside. We have converted that to 10 pickleball courts. We're getting ready to go with a clear span redo to put insulation in it, because right now it's just the vinyl. So it's a little cold in the winter, it's a little hot in the summer. It's going to be a very, very nice place to play. But they've skyrocketed from 0 to about 750 members in a period of 9 months. So it's off to a great start. Got 2 excellent partners over there, Kelly Smith and Kevin Cuban, and they are putting in the energy to make the place great. So it's nice. It is 8, soon to be 10 indoor courts when we do the clear span, and outdoor it's got 6 courts.
Do you have any involvement with what's your role there at the second location?
My role there, I am a minority partner, and I have provided them as much expertise as I know how, and I've provided them access to our players and our instructors and things, so we got their staff up really fast. They put in all of the sweat and the energy to make it work, but I think I gave them a lot of good expertise to get going, and I'm a partner there, so I want them to succeed, just like I want to succeed over here. But a lot of what I'm doing is just to try to create a great pickleball community for Knoxville and surrounding area.
That's good.
I have a question about staffing. So we met some of your staff. They seem really great. And you've talked several times about the different people that you've worked with. Mm-hmm. For you, how do you evaluate when you're going to hire somebody? How do you evaluate if they're going to be a good fit or not before you bring them on?
Gotcha. I think, personally, I've got 2 criteria. Number 1, I want players. I want people that are a part of the community, all right? And number 2, it's attitude. Attitude speaks in an instant to you. If you've got people that have a good attitude and play and love the game, then they're going to be part of the community. They're going to know people by their names and stuff. So that may seem too wishy-washy for you, but it's worked.
Do you have a favorite interview question?
Do I have? You mean you to me, or
no,
me to somebody else?
Do you have a favorite interview question that you would ask a potential employee?
Boy, that's an off-the-wall question. I ought to have an answer for you, but I'd be making it up.
Okay.
And one reason I'd be making it up is my manager handles the vast majority of hiring at this juncture. Okay. But in the early years, no, it all fell to me, and I was looking for energy. And so, tell me about your game. Tell me why you like pickleball.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Well, one thing that I'm noticing is that successful clubs have a good second person, so a manager or an operator along with the owner. So how did you develop the relationship with your manager? How did you pick her? That kind of thing.
Okay. Very early on, 5 years ago, we had a massive open house for all the tennis folks. Okay. And my first manager was a great tennis player and came over from that, and she's still an instructor here. And the reason you say that you've got to have a couple of people is because it'll wear you out. These facilities are open 15 hours a day or plus, and there's people things, there's member things, there's all sorts of, so yeah, you got to have backup, all right? And that young lady did a fantastic job for us for 4.5 years. She still remains on here as an instructor. We brought in Elisa that you just met because she was a member here, and she started working the desk, got good rapport with our members and things, and the journey had taken the course. The first lady, Lisa, had developed a very good teaching clientele, but now she was being split between the office activities and the teaching activities, and she loved the teaching activities. You still got to transition. For me, this place has done everything that I wanted it to do, but I got 5 grandbabies now that I didn't have when I started this. So I want somebody that is really managing it, and I can wipe my hands of it for a week, go to Dallas and see them and stuff like that. So even my needs have changed through the years.
How do you go about finding new ideas to improve your club?
Visit other clubs. You go visit other clubs, kick the tires. You look at some of the franchise models. For instance, we were on an 1.5-hour court model. Then because of competition, we added air conditioning and went to a 2-hour court model, but we kind of kept the 1.5-hour grid. So now we got sort of gaps in the day. So I'm noticing nationwide, almost all of the clubs are going to an hour model. And if you want a 2-hour block, you buy 2 hours. All right. So that lets you incrementally increase the price a little bit and get rid of the gaps in the day. So we're in transition to do that. That's one of the newer ideas that I've gotten into.
Yep. And we talked about off camera how this place is open 24/7. And can you take us through kind of what that process is, what your members do to do that, what their feedback is, and if you've had any problems, with that strategy?
We use a technology called OpenPath, which is an app on the phone and a receiver, a Bluetooth receiver at the door. And after hours, the doors are locked. Hours here are 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. After hours, the doors are locked, but if you present OpenPath to the door, boom, it identifies your phone, assuming it's identifying you, and we have a video system beyond that. What it was a great selling point. When you told them about the courts, you told them about the indirect lighting, you told them about the community space, and oh, by the way, if you're a night owl or an early morning person, you can play for free here with your membership outside those hours. You'd be surprised how many people, oh, really? I love that. Does it get used a lot? It does get used. I'm not saying it doesn't get used at all, but 80% of the people that it closed the deal with them never used it. All right. Now, the other thing, it was an experiment. I'm an experimentalist. We have had no pilferage. We have had no hanky-panky, nothing. I mentioned to you earlier, we've used that video system 3 times, but they were for totally unrelated events. Somebody lost their keys. We had to find what coat went home with it. The system works, and I have been very pleased that people take care of this facility because they see we take care of it.
So the people watching this video are fellow club owners, and so one question that we get a lot, or maybe one concern as a club owner, is where do you get your revenue from? And so if you had to divvy up percentage-wise or maybe rank your top revenue versus kind of what doesn't bring in the most revenue, what would be kind of top to bottom?
I see that there are a couple of different models for creating revenue for a club like this, okay? There's the membership model, there's the drop-in model, and there's the court fee model. And they're really different models, okay? We are based on trying to keep a low membership fee and activity on the courts. So if you were to look at our numbers, we're probably on the monthly membership fees, about 35 to 40% of our total revenue comes from that. As far as the court reservation fees, it's probably 40 to 50% of that. So they almost stay in tandem, right? And you can tweak with 50 cents an hour or something on the court fees. When you want to bump that up, you can tweak with $5 an hour, $5 a month on the monthly fee, so that they can kind of track. So we're 40, 45, and then the other 15% are the special events and things. We will charge basically court fees times about 3x for special events, all right? And so the tournaments, special events and here and things generate maybe 7-8%. And then we've got a little commissary. We don't sell beer. We don't sell complicated food. We sell peanuts and water and stuff like that. That generates a little bit of revenue. We used to, the first year and a half or so, we were a Selkirk distributor and sold paddles and things. I have really stopped that because the turnover in paddles is so much, it just didn't seem to make good business sense. Because you buy 30 paddles at some kind of reduced rate, but at the end of a year or so, you still got 10 of them and stuff, and they're old hat stuff. That's just my choice. If we really wanted to push paddles and things, it's not like you don't have Pickleball Central and you've got Dick's Sporting Goods and all that now. It's a different competitive landscape today than it was back then. So as you look at our quote-unquote store, we have some branded apparel. We got some branded hats and things like that, but we're not trying to push apparel. So that's maybe 3-4% of our revenues.
Is there anything revenue-wise that you are looking to add as a kind of an extra stream that you're pursuing, or?
I want to get my outdoor, as the outdoor facilities season comes on, there's probably opportunities for leagues there. Leagues take a lot of administration, though. Okay, they don't happen all by themselves. So leagues, bigger drill and plays, bigger ladders. Ladders are a lot easier than leagues, and you can come by yourself and things. So I think we'll push ladders a bit more this summer.
Whose responsibility is the leagues right now for you guys?
Yeah, that would be our manager, and then we'll designate certain of our instructors to take on a league.
Very good.
Advice.
We'll move on to the last question?
Yeah.
All right, last question we always ask club owners is what piece of advice, maybe one or two pieces of advice that you would give to another club owner in the space?
Okay. We've touched on it. I really like not taking any cash. I like it being all electronic. There's so many advantages to that, from security to taxes to everything. It's just all there. Okay, so that's one. And there's some good tools out there for that. The other is think about the details when you build the facility. Now, we've got showers here for people. We don't have lockers. We've got a changing room, but not locker rooms. We just expect you to bring your gym bag. We've got a nice area for teaching here, and we paid attention to the flooring. We paid attention to the lighting. So those are the kinds of things that I would say. Pay attention to the details. Think like you're a player when you build these things. It's not just a bunch of courts. There's things you can do to make it better.
That's awesome. Okay. That's great.
And I got one or two other things to say, just to say them. You didn't ask them, but I'm going to brag.
Go ahead.
Because of the startup time in this thing, back in the middle of COVID, this old man was playing pickleball every day for like 6 hours. And I had a dream come true that I never would have imagined before I did this, okay? I'm a decent athlete, okay, but nothing to write home about. A partner and I, because we were playing so much here, won the National Senior Olympics 65 and older 4-0 men's championship in Fort Lauderdale, Florida back in 2022. And it was like, I never expected that to happen. So cool. And so that was kind of neat. And that's what happens when you go in a different direction and you spend that much time playing. Because part of that kind of a tournament, we beat teams from like 14 states in one day, which is as much endurance as it is playing skill. But when you've been out here, starting a facility and on the court teaching, training, playing, getting blocks going and stuff, you have the endurance and everything else that was a little bit superhuman to do that. It was something I just never would have imagined, but it came out of the blue because of doing this. And I just got to say to you, I've been super blessed by this. I did it. I didn't have to worry about the financial side. So I just did it to make it a player's place. Financially, it has cash flowed and it has worked out reasonably well. Now I've got the challenge of 34 courts in the area, not 4 courts. So I've got another year or so of challenge, but we'll work through it. So I appreciate you guys being here. I hope this has been interesting for you. And I just had to put that plug in there. For
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
It's part of the story of the journey that has made it a lot of fun. And if you've never heard of that book, I Dare You, it's cheap on Amazon. It's worth the read. It's about 100 years old, about 45 pages. You'll read it in one sitting. But the square is really, really instrumental in, it's the equivalent of every morning we look in the mirror and go, all right, okay. This is the equivalent of looking at your character, your nature. Where are you spending your time? And are you keeping balance in it? You guys are entrepreneurs. You know how the entrepreneurial world can get you out of balance sometimes. And that book has been extremely helpful to me for a long time.
That's really great.
Right.
And the last piece I'll say to you, you can cut this, whatever. The reason I share that book so much, I'm a Christian. And the secret in that book isn't Danforth's. It's based on Luke 2:52, which is about Jesus. To tell you the story quickly, Luke 2 is about Jesus getting left when he's 13 years old when they come for the caravan. I don't know if I'm esoteric for you. Okay.
We just heard a sermon on this 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And Luke 3 is John the Baptist coming out in the wilderness. Luke 2:52 sits right there to cover about 18 years of his life. He grew in wisdom and stature and in the eyes of God and man. And guys, if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me. Okay. And keeping that balance is hard to do at different seasons in your life. But if you can live a joyful and energized life. So I'm turning 69 next week. I feel like I'm about 16. I don't know what I act like, but I want to stay energized. I want to stay contributing to people. And that's one of the key methodologies I use to do that. So I appreciate you guys driving up here to be with me, and I hope it's been an interesting time for you.
It's been great.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lee. I appreciate it.
You bet. Brady.